be smarter, play chess, be strategic about every single move that you make. What is going on, everyone? Abel here with Temecula Valley Junk Pickup. I had plans this evening to jump on and record a video talking about why we started a junk removal business, how we even came into this space. But I just received a message here on Instagram, and it's from someone that follows us, and they had a question, and they were really frustrated. They wanted to know how to deal with a competitor. They felt that this competitor was copying them in similar name. They felt that this competitor was copying their colors, felt that this competitor was copying their brand, their name, doing things that they were doing, and they were getting really frustrated and angry with them, right? And there's really two answers to this question, right? There's going to be the legal aspect, right? If someone is copying your brand to the point where they are literally just copying and pasting, there could possibly be some legal actions that you could take if you are smart enough to do things like trademark your name and actually go out and get an actual business license within the city and go out and get your fictitious business name and lay the proper groundwork to protect yourself if something like that happened. But for the majority of you watching, I don't think you did. So that could be another video for another day, but definitely something you need to look into, because if you start doing good, guess what? People are going to copy you. And they say that imitation is the best form of flattery. But, me personally, I don't want to be flattered. We've been copied so many times that I am really numb to it by this point. Uh, but I get your frustration, right? I get the anger that you feel when you see someone pop up that's, you know, basically taking your name and just switched a few things around. I'll give you an example. We just had a company probably about 3 weeks ago pop up locally, and our name is Temecula Valley Junk Pickup, right? The reason why we did pickup is when we opened our business, there was another company out there that had a similar name that was the word removal, right? And I wanted to use Temecula Valley in our name, or Temecula in our name, because it is where we live. And hindsight is 2020. If I had the knowledge I had now, I would not place our name into the company name. It's really landlocked us and has, well, in reality, it stops us from really growing outside of our little valley here. But anyways, so there was a company named Temecula Junk Removal, and I wanted something similar, right? And initially, my thoughts were, wow, that's another person's company. I'm not going to take that name. And I started doing some research, and I found out it was just a lead gen site. It wasn't an actual company, so I really had no emotions built into. I'm like, oh well, it is what it is. It's not a real company. There's no one that's really built a brand around that. It's just a lead gen site. And I didn't want to do anything with the word removal in it because that lead gen site had some bad reviews on it. It had like a 3 or 4-star review. So I'm like, all right, cool. We'll go Temecula Valley because our little pocket here that encompasses about 5-6 cities is called the Temecula Valley. And I said, we'll go junk pickup. At that time, there was no companies with the word pickup in their name. I like to think that I coined that. I probably didn't. But for my ego's sake, let's pretend that I did. And so we went with Temecula Valley Junk Pickup. A few weeks ago, there was a new company that popped on, started posting all over Facebook, and they are Temecula Valley Junk Removal. And I'm like, that's like too close, right? Too close for comfort. But did I give it any time? No. I laughed at it. I had about 15 people reach out to me like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? The chances of that company succeeding in our industry already is pretty rare. And not that I'm putting any bad vibes out to them. Just this industry is really hard, especially right now in this economy. And for a new company to pop up in our market, which is a very competitive market, there's about 30 local guys and 5 franchises. Statistically, they're probably not going to make it. So it's really not something that's worth me putting any time or effort into trying to do something. And if you're watching, congratulations. I would suggest changing your name. um, but you have the choice, right? Option one is legal action if you can. Option two is you can choose to allow this company that is copying you to live in your head rent free, right? And what I've learned is the moment that you give that company the time of day in your head, you've lost the battle, right? It's so easy to get frustrated and angry because this is a baby that you've built, right? And you've spent time building your brand, hopefully. You spent time going out and working boots on the ground and building something up. And to go and see someone take something similar like your name, like your colors, like your logo, like your wraps, like anything that you do, right? Taking a similar post that you did and rewording it a little bit or worse, worse, just copying and pasting it. It's extremely frustrating, but you have a choice. You can choose that this person is going to be your competitor or not. And the word competitor or competition is a really interesting word because of course it's going to have your Webster's dictionary version of competition, competitor, whatever. But you have to decide what that definition is for you and your business, right? We decided when we opened our business that we were only going to focus on a couple companies as our competition. Okay. We were going to focus on 1-800 Got Junk. We were going to focus on Junk Kings. And we were going to focus on Junk Removal Heroes, which Junk Removal Heroes is a local company here in Murrieta, but they are a franchise. So they're a smaller franchise. They're kind of over the last few years getting things rolling, have a few locations, which is pretty cool to see it happen actually, especially for a local company. So cheers to you guys. But because they were the three franchises in our area at that time, that's who I wanted to compete with. That's who I was going to set my sights on and go through and dominate. Have we dominated all of them? No, but I think we're doing a pretty good job. Now, of course, we have a few new franchises in the area. One is going to be J Dog's Junk Removal, which is actually a great friend of mine. And then we have College Hunks. So when you're deciding who your competition is going to be, you have to realize that you are allowing them to have space in your head. You're allowing yourself to give them emotional time from your brain, which us as business owners already, we don't have a lot of free time. Okay. Especially if this is a side hustle for now and it's something that you're just working on building. You probably have another full time job or you're a full time stay at home parent. You have a lot going on. And it's hard enough running a business while juggling everything else in life. Trying to spend more time focusing on this company that might be stealing your ideas or copying your brand may or may not be worth it. So when we started, we sat down and I mean, me and my wife, and I said, okay, there's a lot of local guys doing this. And I don't think it's going to be worth our time trying to compete with them. Right. I didn't play sports as a kid. It's not something that my parents could really afford. So I never really asked to be in any sports. Um, but in my mind, right, I see my kids play sports and I see the competition and I see how they prepare ahead of time and they know who it is that they're competing. They know their track record. They know more about that team than most people know about, any other regular team that's on the field that weekend competing. And the reason why they know that is they need to know who it is that they're going up against so they can prepare. They need to know their strengths. They need to know their weaknesses. They need to know how to adjust. They need to know who should be in the field and who shouldn't be in the field. And so when we decided who we were going to compete with, I only wanted to focus on the three at the time. And I said, you know what? We can do better, right? We are small. We are broke. We have a janky looking truck and a janky looking trailer, but I can do it better. I can provide a better service. I can provide a faster response time. And I know that I can make these customers feel like $1,000,000, right? That they are valued and treasured, and we appreciate just the opportunity to come out to work for them. So we decided that that's who we were going to target and that's who we were going to focus. So we wanted to build a local brand that had the appearance of a large franchised company so that people knew that when they hired us, they were actually hiring a legitimate company. And so we got to work, right? I started doing my research, right? Cool. Junking has 3 trucks. 1-800 got chunk. 1-800 got junk currently has 9 trucks. Uh, Junk Removal Heroes has 1 truck and 1 trailer locally. J Dog Junk Removal, although they are technically they're not local anymore. My friend Christopher, the franchisee, had the opportunity to move to a different franchise location in San Diego, which is where he actually lives. So actually, we'll kind of cut them from this, uh, franchise portion because they're technically no longer our local competitor. And then College Hunks, I believe they have 2 trucks from what I've been able to tell. Right. So I started researching them. The only thing I never researched was their pricing. And I've actually never price shopped any of my local competitors, not even the small guys, not the big guys, none of them. And there's a lot of conflicting information out there. People saying, oh, yeah, you need to call up all your competitors, you need to price check the waters, see where the market's at. None of that really matters to me. I don't care what my competitors charge. I don't care about any of that because my pricing is built on my business and my business model. It's based on my expenses. It's based on what we as a company need to make to stay open and to move forward and to grow and to buy new trucks. If went out and I saw all my local competition's pricing and I compare it to mine, psychologically, I'm going to second guess what we're charging. My pricing is going to start to drop. It's going to be all over the place, right? But the reality is my pricing has to sustain my business. Chuck in a truck's pricing just has to sustain his, right? 1-800 got junk's pricing has to sustain not just their business, but their franchise fees. And so I had to figure out what worked for our business and move forward. And so I don't see a need to price check my competition. It's just another free area of space that they can have to make me second guess what I'm doing. So I've kind of gone off on a few tangents here, but long story short, your competition has the opportunity to distract you. Don't give them that opportunity. Don't give them that space. If you feel like they're copying you, it's frustrating. I get it. I've called my buddy Julian from Heritage Hauling a few more than a few times. Be like, you won't believe what this person is doing. And the good thing about a good friend is they'll check you and they'll be like, why are you wasting your time on this? You're better than that. You're obviously better than whoever it is that I'm complaining about or I was complaining about in those moments. And having good friends that not only can keep you accountable, but check you, but understand business and your industry are so important to have. And all the local competition that a lot of other people wouldn't want to associate themselves with, I'm friends with them. A lot of these other local guys, we're actually really good friends. We'll go out, we'll get lunch, we'll talk shop, we'll share numbers, we'll share jobs with each other. I want to say in the last week, I've given out probably 5 jobs to other companies because we just couldn't get to them. Or there was one where the guys walked into the appointment and we walked into a load and a half job. We walk in blind to most of our appointments, so we don't really have a exact idea what the customer has. And so to make sure that we were able to get the load and a half done and get to our next appointment within that window, I reached out to another local company and I gave them that job because it was more important for me that that customer got serviced in their time window than calling to push them back. And the only reason why we had to do that is because we've been having truck issues, and so we didn't have the second truck available yet, or the third truck ready to roll yet. So it's more beneficial to you to become friends with your local competition as long as they are similar mindset as you, right? You don't want to associate yourself with another company that's just a negative Nancy, that's just going to bring you down, right? You are who you associate yourself with. We've been having this conversation a lot with my 13-year-old son. We recently took his phone away, not because he's done anything that deserves for the phone to be taken away, but I caught wind of kind of just reading through some different messages on his phone. And I'm like, man, why are you associating yourself with these people? They're trash. You are so much better than this, son. You are so much smarter than this. You have so much more potential than to put yourself around these type of people. And middle schoolers are rough. If you have a middle school kid, I highly suggest you get their phone and read through these group messages they're a part of, because it's yeah, just do it. Anyways, you want to make sure that the companies that you're associating yourself with are of a similar mindset. Because if you're going to invest into something, you need to make sure that they are also willing to invest back into you. So I think that's pretty much the end of my rant. This was completely unplanned. I had no outline, no nothing. So if I missed anything or you have any thoughts or opinions on this, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious how you handle things. Julian and I, Julian is the owner of Heritage Hauling. We have some we have some big plans for this community out here. We have some big plans for networking and bringing people together. And we really want to bring the dumpster space in with the junk removal space and have a blend and really build some bigger and better partnerships for everybody and see how we can help everybody out. But at the end of the day, don't give your competition that negative space in your brain. You are better than that. If you're going to choose for someone to be your competition, you better make sure that that competition is worth the space in your head and go after them. Well, not after them, but go after it and attack and make your moves. This game is all about chess and it is not checkers. Worrying about the competition, worrying about who's copying what, worrying about all these little BS things is a game of checkers. Be smarter, play chess, be strategic about every single move that you make. And I can promise you that the moves that you make will reap tenfold compared to the move someone playing checkers makes. So that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful evening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that crap. It truly means the world to us and we appreciate it. Hopefully everyone has a great evening. Take care.